You're listening to the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. Ryan Hamilton is a real estate agent with Good Oak Real Estate and the heart behind the I Do Guru, helping people build strong foundations, both in their homes and in their marriages. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. I am Ryan Hamilton, very excited today. This is a new kind of a program for us today that we're doing, a new kind of episode. I'm sharing with you my top 10 Arizona sports figures of all time. This is my list, all right? You can debate me, you can argue, but if you want your own list, go get your own podcast, all right? So we'll lay the groundwork. We'll talk our top 10, one episode, no hiding from it. Looking forward to the comments, looking forward to the feedback on what this is. But before we get started, honorable mention. Some of these guys were mentioned to me by my buddies, Matt Grady, Derek Ross, Zach McMillan. We were texting about this episode as I prepared for it, and they shot me some names that I wanted to make sure that we threw out there. Honorable mention, Arizona sports figures that I got up here just because I think that they're good for on this list, okay? Hockey-wise, I'm not a hockey guy, but Shane Doan spent 21 seasons with the Arizona Coyotes franchise. Back when they were in Winnipeg, they come here. He retires with the franchise in 2017. That's an honorable mention. That's longevity. He was the ultimate captain. I remember listening to him on 98.7 when we had hockey, and they would call in and do a feature with Gambo. So good stuff there. Another one, Kevin Johnson, one of the most underrated Suns players of all time. Small in stature, but man, that guy was fierce. Phil Mickelson, Arizona ties, ASU guy. One of the most successful golfers of all time. He doesn't really do it for me, but can definitely see him as an honorable mention on this list. Another one, another Phoenix Sun, Sean Marion, the Matrix. One of the most versatile Suns players we've ever had. He did everything, got at everyone. Stuff in the stat sheet without, really noticing it. Another tough as nails guy. Got to watch this guy in person, and it was hard to keep him off my top 10 list, but ultimately I didn't because he left and had a bunch of success elsewhere. But Anquan Boldin, Q, one of the most physical wide receivers that the Arizona Cardinals have ever had, was a huge part of that Super Bowl run. Wish we could have got it done, but Q definitely makes the honorable mention just outside of that top 10. Another guy, Jake Plummer, ties to ASU, ties to Arizona Cardinals, gritty, fun, definitely relevant to the history, was a bright spot for the Cardinals when we had no bright spots, which seems like that's more often than not. So again, shout out Matt Grady, Derek Ross, Zach McMillan. They also tried to get themselves into the top 10 list based on our collective performance as a team in our intramural softball competition in Northern Arizona University. I can't put us in for that. And then they mentioned possibly getting in our top 10 list as managers because the collective of us, we managed an unruly group of 9-year-old Little League baseball players to a very respectable third place in the 9-year-old coach pitch bronze division Little League, one season in Flagstaff. And I don't know if that qualifies us as the top 10, but definitely an honorable mention type of situation there. So shout out Zach, shout out Matt, shout out Derek, and thanks for contributing here. So let's get down to it. This is the way it works. These are Arizona sports figures, okay? It's not just stats. It's not just impact. It's legacy. It's moments. They had to play for an Arizona team, and this is their impact here, not like an Anquan Boldin where they left here and had success and won a Super Bowl somewhere else. This is legacy plus moments. It's not just numbers, so it's not going to be the top stat guys. So let's dive into it. Number 10. All right. Number 10, arguably the best women's basketball player of all time, Diana Taurasi. This one's simple. She stayed. She got us some championships with the WNBA, with the Mercury, longevity. She had some swagger. And again, arguably the greatest women's basketball player of all time. We love that she stayed, and that's pretty much the whole argument, loyalty on this one. So number 10, Diana Taurasi. Number 9, Thunder Dan. Thunder Dan Marley was the heart and soul of some of those early 90s Suns teams. Defense, hustle, toughness. He shot the 3 ball. He's had some energy to light up the crowd. Every great team needs a guy that kind of does the dirty work, and Dan Marley was one of those guys. Also, pretty big impact. He had a few bars and stuff around, bars, restaurants, up Flagstaff. He had one, downtown Phoenix, Chandler, Tempe areas. Defense hustle. He ended up actually coaching over at GCU for a little bit. That didn't exactly work out, but his nomination in number 9 is for his impact on as a Phoenix Sun. So number 9, Dan Marley. Number 8, people are going to argue that this definitely could have been higher, and I get it. I'm wearing his jersey right here. All right, this is number 40 for the Arizona Cardinals. Pat Tillman. Tillman is bigger than football. You got to acknowledge his death, an unfortunate, sad, friendly fire incident. I'm not an ASU guy. I graduated from Northern Arizona University where I met my beautiful wife. I grew up in Southern Arizona rooting for the U of A, so I actually didn't like ASU a lot growing up. Even with all of that, Pat Tillman, he makes the list as a Devil, as a Sun Devil, and as a Cardinal just because of his impact, not only on the field, but mainly off the field. We all know that he left kind of at the peak of his NFL career. We don't know how good he really could have been because he left to join the armed forces and fight for our country post 9/11. So bigger than football. Pat Tillman, number 8. I get it if people say that he needs to be higher on that list, but it's my list. All right, it's my list. Number 7, the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley. Again, full disclosure on some of this stuff. I wasn't a huge basketball fan back in 1993, but this was my earliest memory of really getting behind the Suns was that finals run, and it probably helped that we played against Jordan and the Bulls. I grew up about 3 hours from Phoenix, and it wasn't always easy to watch Suns basketball games back then. But that finals run, it grabbed me. MVP season his first year here, finals appearance. He wasn't in Phoenix for very long, but he makes Phoenix and Scottsdale his home still today. And Charles Barkley's coming in at number 7. Number 6, this guy could have been in my top 5 very easily, just snuck outside of it. I've been a Cardinals season ticket holder on 2 separate occasions. My first one was 5 years, and right in the middle of that was that Super Bowl run. And my quarterback during that Super Bowl run in those years that I was had our first set of season tickets, Kurt Warner. Got to watch a lot of Kurt Warner football in person. It was incredible. He made the Cardinals feel like an actual NFL team. That doesn't happen all the time if you're an Arizona fan. We are in one of the midst of those things right now where we don't feel like an NFL team, right? I don't even feel like an NFC West team as the 3 teams that are in our division with us are all having success, and we just set our franchise record for most losses in a season. So those feelings make the Kurt Warner era feel even more special to me, and I have a longing for that feeling because I don't know that we get it back again with the way that this franchise is going. So hard to say, but Kurt Warner changed the trajectory of Arizona Cardinals football for a few seasons and was really the catalyst for that Super Bowl run and kind of creating legitimacy around the franchise. So that's it. That's 10 through 6. Now we are at the cream of the crop, the top 5. And number 5, again, these could almost go in any order until we get to number 1. Then I don't think there's a debate. But number 5, Steve Nash, okay? Point guard, Phoenix Suns. Didn't just win MVPs. He kind of changed the way basketball was run after he was there. 7 seconds or less. Made the Suns must-watch TV. We were on SportsCenter all the time. All the time. He elevated everyone around him, made the Suns relevant nationally, and that era still defines Phoenix Suns basketball. And I would argue we are one dirty Robert Horry, San Antonio Spur, dirty player, dirty franchise away from a title with Steve Nash during that run. But we all know what happened. He got hip-checked into the boards like a coward move by Robert Horry, and I'm never going to let him forget it. And then we know what happened after that. Some guys left the bench. They got suspended for the next game. And it was one of those deals. But Steve Nash, number 5. Love my guy. And bam, Nasty Nash here. Here we go. All right. So there's that. Number 5. Number 4. The old pigeon killer himself, Randy Johnson. Prime Randy Johnson was terrifying. If you look up the All-Star game footage, I think he was going against John Kruk. And Kruk, he couldn't even stand in the box because of how dominant and scary as hell Randy Johnson was to face. Big old left-hander, Cy Young's, World Series championship, total dominance. There are guys that are in the Hall of Fame, and then there's guys that are like Randy Johnson that made people afraid to step into the box with him, okay? There was a fear factor there. It's the World Series factor there, all those kinds of things. He does photography now, sports photography. I don't know if you know that. But I'll always remember, too, and you can look this up, Google search it, it was down in Tucson, actually, when they used to have spring training down in Tucson, and he was in the middle of a spring training game, threw a fastball, and a pigeon, unfortunately, was in the way of that and got it blown up, exploded. And so just a crazy video, but man, Randy Johnson, prime dominance, okay? That's number 4. Number 3 doesn't have all the stats and accolades, but I'll tell you what he does have. One of the most famous, the most famous baseball swing in all of Arizona sports history. This is number 3, Luis Gonzalez. One swing, 2001 World Series, bottom of the 9th, against arguably the greatest closer of all time, Mariano Rivera. And he gets the bat on the ball. And had Derek Jeter in the Yankee infield been playing normal, that would have been a can of corn pop-up. But they were in because the game and the World Series was on the line. He got it to drop. The rest is history. If you were alive and you have a memory of that time frame, and you're any kind of a sports person, not even a sports junkie, but just a general sports casual fan, you likely remember exactly where you were when Luis Gonzalez had that hit. I was in our double wide trailer in college off of Lake Mary Road with the fellas, and I remember Derek Ross losing his mind and starting to swing, just crazy swinging and so I lost my breath, got hit, celebrated. We may have had a couple of beers or something, but that's it. Number 3, Luis Gonzalez. He will go down as the guy, and that footage is forever etched in Arizona sports lore. Number 2 is the modern face of Arizona sports. Okay, this guy's got swagger. This guy's got an Olympic gold medal. This guy stayed in Phoenix when he didn't have to. This guy's loyal. He's gone through it all. Number 2 of my most influential and favorite Arizona sports figures is my man, Devin Booker. D-Book, okay? This is one of my favorite jerseys, this colorway here, the Valley jerseys. Got to watch him in the finals run. Had season tickets at that time. Watched a lot of Devin Booker in person. Watch a lot of him now in person now still. The guy is it. He's the modern face of Arizona sports. He stayed when a lot of superstars left or would have left in their situation, right? He's one of those guys that's going to end his career, hopefully with one team, and it's going to be ours. And we are lucky to have them. This guy's still building his legacy as well. I would argue this is your best shooting guard in the entire NBA to this day, okay? I know, Grady, you're going to say Ant-Man is up there. I get it. I love Anthony Edwards as well. But for my money, Devin Booker is the man. Always will be. And he is very well could, depending on what he does, could end his career as my number 1 and number 1 on this list. But right now, he's number 2. Number 1, this one actually isn't even close unless something happens with Devin Booker and he brings us an NBA title. Devin Booker brings us an NBA title. I automatically number 1. There it is. I'm putting it out there. Nothing else you can say about it. But he hasn't. He hasn't done it yet. So number 1 wasn't even close. Larry Legend. Larry Fitzgerald is Arizona sports. Longevity. Class. This dude was classy in defeat. He was classy when we were winning. Production. That playoff run. And his stats and numbers still stand up today. Crazy. Leadership. Okay? This guy was a leader in the Cardinals team, in the community, in their locker room. He represented Arizona the right way for nearly 2 decades. And if you don't have Larry Fitzgerald as your clear number 1 Arizona sports figure of all time, then we haven't watched the same sports here in Arizona. We're not watching the same things. He is Arizona sports, and he is my number 1 pick of my favorite top 10 Arizona sports figures. And there it is. That's my top 10 Arizona sports athletes of all time list. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree, and I know some people won't. And I want to hear some of that feedback. Tell me who I missed. Tell me who I should have on there. Drop your list. Tell me when I'm wrong. And if you're mad, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast first and then get mad. Share this podcast with somebody. And thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to many more episodes like this. Working on my top 5 Arizona sports moments or eras. And that's going to be a fun one. Might bring in some of my boys for that conversation. But in the meantime, there it is. 10-1 with some honorable mentions. A little help from the fellas from NAU. And this has been another episode of the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. I, of course, am Ryan Hamilton, local real estate agent here in the Phoenix and Tucson area with Good Oak Real Estate and the I Do Guru. I'm a wedding officiant there. This was fun. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know what you think. Go Suns, go Cardinals, go D-backs, and go Mercury, and go Phoenix Rising. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
This has been the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs it. For real estate help or a wedding ceremony crafted with care, connect with Ryan online. See you next week.